I think that change is scary in general, especially in a time where we need stability more than ever. And it's kind of like that fork in the that circle of a question where it's like we need change.
Grace VanderWaal has just been diagnosed with a rare and serious illness, leaving her family in shock. Imagine being young, talented, and admired worldwide, only to have your health take a sudden, frightening turn. Could this be the moment that changes everything for Grace and her family? Tune in, because the story we are about to uncover is so heartbreaking that it will make you burst into tears. Finding strength in uncertain times. You know, it's not like Grace's family wasn't used to challenges. Fame doesn't come without its downsides. The spotlight can be pretty unforgiving, especially for someone so young. But a medical diagnosis, that's a completely different ballgame. The family suddenly had to deal with something they couldn't fix with supportive words or a break from the public eye. It was real, tangible, and scary. The kind of thing that makes you question everything. For her, the diagnosis was a cold reminder that not everything in life could be controlled, no matter how talented or beloved she was. Before we explore this further, it's clear that the truth is far more complicated than anyone expected, and this revelation will leave you speechless. When the news first broke, she and her family kept it all close to the chest. I mean, who wouldn't? It's one thing to share your music with the world, but sharing your vulnerabilities, your fears, that's a lot to ask. But as we know, the internet has a way of sniffing things out. And soon enough, the whispers became loud enough that the family had to address it. The details were vague. They didn't know the world a full explanation. But it was clear that this was going to affect her life, her career, and her future in ways no one could predict. I'm very nervous. My stomach is churning, but I'm really excited, and I love the movie, and I'm happy to be a part of this ride. She was always the type of person who seemed wise beyond her years, but being faced with a health scare like this made her grow up even faster. Imagine being in the prime of your teenage years with dreams of music and artistry, only to have to pause and deal with doctors, treatments, and the constant uncertainty of what comes next. The diagnosis wasn't just a physical issue. It was mental, too. It's hard to stay positive when your body feels like it's betraying you. It's even harder when the world is watching, waiting for you to fail, or worse, to disappear entirely from the limelight. The VanderWaal family is tight-knit. They always have been. Fame didn't change that, though it did complicate things. Moving from Lenexa, Kansas to wherever her career took them, her parents and sister were always there. They were her support system, her safe haven, and they had to be. Especially now. Her parents took on roles that were equal parts cheerleader and caretaker. Her mom was right there in every doctor's appointment, making sure that she had all the information she needed, while also trying to shield her from the harshest realities. Her dad tried to keep things light, reminding her that diagnosis or not, she was still the same person. I don't think I'll be the next Taylor Swift, 'cause I want to be myself, and I want to be the next Grace VanderWaal. Then there's Olivia. Her older sister, Olivia, was a rock in ways that only a sibling could be. She wasn't overly emotional about it, which was what she needed. She was straightforward, no nonsense. When she felt overwhelmed, Olivia was there to bring her back down to earth, to remind her that she was more than her diagnosis, more than the fame, more than the expectations. They'd stay up late, talking about anything but music or health. Just normal sister stuff like crushes, dumb TikTok trends, and whatever else helped them feel like things were still somewhat normal. Her career, which had been full steam ahead, had to slow down, something that didn't come easily to her. She was used to going 100 m an hour, used to performing, writing, creating. Slowing down felt like a defeat at first. But over time, she began to see it differently. It wasn't about giving up. It was about adapting. She started focusing on what she could do rather than what she couldn't. That meant more time spent writing songs in her room and less time on stage. It meant fewer public appearances, but more genuine connections with the people around her. It meant redefining what success looked like, not by the number of albums sold or awards won, but by how she felt at the end of the day. As she faced her diagnosis, music became more than just her job. It was her way to feel better, to make sense of everything. Music as a refuge in hard times. Music became even more of a lifeline for her. It always had been. But now it was more like therapy than a career. She'd sit with her ukulele for hours, strumming, humming, and just letting whatever emotions she had poured out. Some days it was anger, on other days sadness, and sometimes it was hope. The songs she wrote during this time weren't necessarily meant for an album or for the public. They were just for her, a way to make sense of the chaos that had become her life. It was in these moments that she found a new kind of strength. Not the kind that comes from standing in front of thousands of screaming fans, but the quiet kind that comes from facing yourself, your fears, and your limitations. And I'm still writing, but it's going to be really good. But I think it's going to be better than the first volume. For sure. Her fans, known as the Graceful Fools, were a massive source of support. When word got out about her health, they rallied. Social media was flooded with messages of love, support, and shared stories of resilience. People from all over the world shared how her music had helped them through their own tough times, and now they were ready to return the favor. It was heartwarming, but also a little overwhelming. She had always known her fans were there, but seeing the sheer volume of support made her realize that what she did mattered. Not just in an abstract artistic sense, but in a real human way. Industry peers also reached out, fellow musicians, producers, and even celebrities who had watched her grow from a talented kid on a reality show to a full-fledged artist. They offered their support in private messages, understanding the need for privacy, but wanting her to know she wasn't alone. She was reminded that the music world, for all its cutthroat competition and drama, could also be a community. It wasn't just about fame and money. It was about people who understood what it meant to be vulnerable, to put yourself out there. And to face the world, flaws and all. Living with the diagnosis meant that unpredictability became the new normal. There were good days when she felt almost like her old self, full of energy and creativity. And then there were bad days when even getting out of bed felt like a monumental task. The uncertainty was one of the hardest parts. Never knowing what tomorrow would bring for someone like her who thrived on setting goals and chasing them down. The inability to plan her future was a bitter pill to swallow. But it was also a lesson in patience, in taking things one day at a time, in finding joy in the little victories. Her family's role in helping her navigate this new reality cannot be overstated. They weren't just there for the big moments like doctor visits or important career decisions. They were there for the little things, too. Making her laugh when she felt down, helping her with chores when she didn't have the energy, and just being present. They learned as a family to celebrate the small wins. A day without pain, a new song written, a moment of genuine laughter. These became the markers of success. She also turned to mindfulness and meditation. It was her way of staying grounded when everything else felt out of control. She'd sit quietly, focus on her breath, and try to let go of the worries that constantly swirled in her mind. Journaling helped, too. She'd write down her thoughts, her fears, her hopes. It wasn't about creating something perfect. It was about getting the thoughts out of her head and onto paper where they felt more manageable. These practices didn't solve everything, but they helped her find moments of peace, moments where she could just be. Not the famous singer, not the girl with the diagnosis, just herself. The VanderWaal family's path through this diagnosis was a testament to their resilience. It wasn't just about Grace facing her fears. It was about all of them as a unit adapting and growing together. Her parents learned to let go a little, to trust that she could handle more than they sometimes gave her credit for. Olivia learned to be both a sister and a friend, to support her without letting the diagnosis define their relationship. And Grace, she learned that vulnerability wasn't a weakness. It was, in fact, one of her greatest strengths. With each song, Grace began to find her way again while her family and fans stood by her, redefining success after the diagnosis. As she looks to the future, she does so with a new perspective. The dreams are still there. The music, the albums, the performances, but they're tempered with a sense of balance. She's learned that it's okay to say no, to put her health first, to take a break when she needs one. Fame is fleeting, but her well-being, her family, and her sense of self are what truly matter. And if that means the path takes a little longer, that's okay. She's in it for the long haul, not for the quick wins. Her story isn't just about a young girl facing a health crisis. It's about resilience, about finding light in the darkest of times, about understanding that life doesn't always go according to plan, and that's okay. I think that change is scary in general, especially in a time where we need stability more than ever. It's about family, about the people who stand by you when things get tough, who remind you of who you were when you forget And it's about music, the universal language. That has always been her way of making sense of the world. A language that continues to help her heal, grow, and connect. Through all of this, she has remained an inspiration. Not because she's perfect or because she has all the answers, but because she doesn't. She's figuring it out as she goes, just like the rest of us. She's learning to be okay with uncertainty, to find beauty in imperfection, and to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear.